when somebody is looking at developing a placement strategy for a particular industry, perhaps one that's going to be quite difficult to place in the coming years, what are the benefits that you would say that they should be considering for an MGA, but also what would you advise them in looking at that difficult situation and how to process it?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, and there's not a sort of bullet point answer. It will be tailored, depend on the answers to that will depend on what the broker does. If you've got a niche broker that specialises in widget manufacturers, then they would need to find either an MGA or an insurer that underwrites widget manufacturers. So it's very much a case of tailoring what you do, and you build your placement strategy around that. The majority of, I believe that the majority of community brokers aren't specialists in widget manufacturers. They will ultimately, they look after their community, and they could have any sorts of risks that come through the door. And they need a variety of different markets that help support what they might get through the door. So they definitely should get the big insurers, because the brand name and the most customers, if you walk in and you mentioned I've got this place with an insurer that begins with A, the chances are they're going to heard of that insurer and they will just buy it. But it's also the choice. It's and I think that's where, if you select your MGAs, they will have a certain capacity that you won't be able to get access to. They'll have a product line that you won't be able to get elsewhere. They'll have a bell or whistle that isn't common that you want to offer to your customer, or they'll have that service proposition where I could send it to insurer A, and I could wait 3 or 4 days for a response, or I can send it to these guys and I know that someone's going to be on the phone in an hour with a quote. So it's almost where that placement strategy is just pick your partners, know that, and the big insurers, they will have a minimum level of support required, whether it be 50k, 100k gross premium. It might be difficult to look after lots of insurers with a relatively smaller book, whereas the MGAs, we don't want dormant agencies, but we won't have a requirement to place a certain amount of business to trade with us. So you can keep us happier with less than you would the insurer. So it is just a case of pick your partners and think, well, I'm going to place this majority of my business here, or with these partners, I'm going to use these for them, but have a reason as to why they're in your placement strategy. And it's that reason really is down to the broker to say, well, this is where I need my business to be serviced. And for us, we've got a wide product range. We do a little bit of the non-standard, but we're not a non-standard market, but it is about that service, being prompt to deliver terms, being nimble, your favorite word, and that is the USP for us, is that we'll tailor our approach to the broker's needs, so that they can properly service their customers.